Welcome to the Hampshire 1900 start, and we're picking up on the 8th of March 1926, which I think is about 4 or 5 months on from the end of the last part. And in this part, I want to do two things. I want to populate our new town and also do a little bit of long-range planning based on what I started talking about in the previous part, where we were talking about making some clothing production. But before that, as usual, a couple of things. The first thing is a big thank you for all your comments and feedback. You guys give me a lot to think about, and I did get a comment which has given me a lot to think about, and that is, as someone pointed out, is that because the concrete track is now effectively delayed, that means we've got to consider a way on how to upgrade these tracks. And what someone suggested was laying four-way tracks, which basically means we've got to have 4 tracks. Now, I'm not 100% sure I'm going to go that far, but I think what I might have to do and is actually build parallel tracks, because what the devs have said is that if you upgrade a wooden track, you don't upgrade it, you replace it. And I think the key word is replace. So for example, if we've got 2 tracks here, what we may have to do is put in a crossover and then lay a parallel 3rd track or 4th track. And then rather than kind of mess about upgrading these tracks, these can take the strain, and then eventually we'll just demolish them. But that means we're going to spend a lot of time demolishing track, which is always a little bit risky. Now, on this subject, I do have one concern, which if I come into here and we go to research and come down here, and this is where I think the devs have kind of made a little bit of a mistake, or maybe somebody can explain this to me, because what we've got here is we can research concrete track in 1929, but this is a and condition for on this research. So I do wonder whether if we research concrete track, when we get to laying the track over here, what will happen is it will come up and say, right, you've researched concrete based track, but now you've got to research prefab panel track. So because this could be 2 levels of research, which I think is a little bit wrong. I think what the devs should do is, and I've got no problem with waiting until 1955 for prefabs, but I've got a feeling that this link here is going to be very problematic. So I think it might be better if this just stayed on its original path. But what it would mean is that to build prefab track, you would have to import it, which would be an extra challenge. So it's not like you're getting a freebie, because if you can't do the research for prefab, which is this down here, this prefab panel factory, that means you're going to have to import the prefabs, which then provides another challenge. So that's just a thought. Anyway, before we get into what I want to do, because I'm kind of stalling a little bit, as you might guess, because I'm waiting for the temperature to rise a little bit before we actually do the move-in. I'm just going to give you a bit of an update of where we are. Now, down in Milford-on-Sea, down here, things are just chugging along slowly. I'm just letting the game work through this at their own pace, just to make kind of so that eventually this could be the next town we actually move into. But we've got a little bit more planning to do here. Eastleigh, again, is kind of almost going into stasis now. There's not much going on here building wise for the moment, although we do have a key. The focus is really on roads at the moment. I think I'm just kind of running an asphalt program at the moment with respect to this out here. Wow, that's just finished. Look at that. So we've now got an asphalt down here. I think I'll just put in so that we can make that link as well. This is just purely a modernization. I still really need to think about what I'm going to do with Southampton. My instinct is that it could be a general industrial centre, because we got the ports, but I'm still not 100% there, to be honest. I need to think a little bit more about it. Now, of course, the big centre of activity is going to be Wartop down here, because this is where our industrial base is going to grow for. So until, well, for some time now, we're going to have to really think about how we're going to expand this area out here. One thing you will see here is I've done quite a lot of reclamation because I got the out here, because obviously the here is going to be our clothing industry. I'm kind of thinking about our chemical industry as well, but a bit more later on. I had a real difficult job getting this port in. This is why it's been placed, because if I show you there, what happens is when you place these ports, if I show it to you, what you have is there's like an extension. So the port comes out so far, but you get a kind of, you can see it goes over the edge. I had to really kind of cut this backwards and forwards until I could get the port in here, but we finally got it in there. And I've just kind of placed the grain silo here as a kind of marker as well. And what we're going to be putting in here, and the reason I've kind of pushed this out the way how far it is we're probably going to put a farm in here to provide some of the crops for our clothing industry here, because this is going to be one of our long-term industries as opposed to our small survival type industries. Although I think over here this construction is going to be fairly there. Well, actually, we need that built. I need to make sure that connects up. Let me just make sure that's been allocated. Just make sure, because it seems a bit odd that this one's been ignored. So what we're going to try and do is get the workforce in here. Is going to move up with cable cars up to here. We are building our small cement plant. And of course, to a certain degree, I've kind of had a bit of accidental luck here, in the sense that we've got a small panel factory here, which it means I can actually build panels, but what we're going to need to do with them, I don't know. The other thing I'm thinking about is a possible railway here as well. The other thing I have placed, if you watch the previous video, is I put a distribution office in here. And the reason I put it in is that I made a little bit of a mistake when I was planning it. So I had to kind of go back to the save game and come back again, because I deleted this section of track going under this bridge. And what that resulted in was the fact that I couldn't put the rail, because I built the bridge over the railway, rather than put the railway through the bridge. I couldn't put this track back in again, so I had to go back as save and actually get it here. You can see the chuffy guy here is just laying in this little bit of track here. So he's got this little bit of track to do. Then we're going to have to build the inline distribution office here. Let's say here this town is technically ready to go. I just want to check. We've got gravel here with water. We've got food, clothes, electronics in here. We've got fuel in here for our heating post. I think we're ready to go, to be honest. We've got some over 270 living with their parents. I think we're going to start with allowing people into here and here, and of course we're going to allow workers into here, and I think we're going to allow workers into there. How we got here? Okay, we're still consuming the. Okay, we need to make sure got workers into there. I think get some more into there. In fact, what I'll do is what I want to do is them to flow into certain key buildings first. I mean, 256 workers is nowhere near enough. That's probably a little bit too much. Oops. Into there. How are we doing now? Okay, we're down to 1. So what I can do now is just allow everyone in now. When the town is going to fill up pretty quickly, because we need to kind of keep expanding the accommodation out over time. So we're going to need to get some more. Yeah, no one in there. Need to allow people in there. Now I have got research going to boost the birth rate. Got teachers here. Technically we don't need that many teachers. Oops. Simply because we've got a young population, which is always a bit of a risk. We've got workers in there. We've got probably don't need that many from the fire station. The university is going. More important, we got water. Okay, so we've got a little bit of slack at the moment. If we come to here and look at the overlay, look at free flats, we've probably got enough here for a little while. We've got 120 there, but I think I'd rather plan another piece of accommodation, preferably out here if I can. Another one of these bigger blocks. And of course, we're going to use the in-game blocks. And that's got to get you in really close. Because of course, what we're going to need here is the workforce. We'll put a connector there and there. And then once we've got the cable system built in, we can send the workers up here. Don't need anyone in here at the moment working on the kilns. Oops, no, don't demolish the building. Buildings are valuable now. This will be wood, but that'd be there. We can get stuff from here. Yeah, we don't need this online just yet. We do need this built. One thing I will mention, because what I do every day is check the workshop, and what I do is I check the workshop for new mods. And now for anyone who's got an early start and doesn't really like the idea of not being able to have access to a roller, there is now been a mod added which gives you access to a paver and a roller from 1909. So if you want to go for it, that's a way you can solve one of the problems. Now I'm not actually going to be subscribed to that and use it, simply because I'm quite happy with the situation with the asphalting at the moment, with the little mod that I've got. Okay, so we've now got this area here. We've got this built up. We did get a low loyalty. I've got this real problem with low loyalty in this building, and I don't know why it's not. And the only thing I can think of is we got a few people in here who are, for some reason, I don't know if they're ex-criminals or something like that, but they just don't seem to want to cooperate. Right, so that is this done. We are working on this area here, and we just need to kind of pull this together. I don't think there's much else going on here. Let me just check. I've got a second fuel distribution office going now over here. Where are you? here because I got the fuel situation here. As I say, we got no spare accommodation here. Farm wise, we was kind of doing okay. I'm slowly building out this connection here for the bitumen, and then, as I say, as for the paver prefab factory, we may get round to that later on. Anyway, so we've got that here. This has been done. Has this been picked up? Yep. We've got road crews working on that, or ground crews here. I don't want you in there just at the moment. That means we might have a little bit of surplus workforce here that we could use. This is on maximum. You should always need to keep your food supply on maximum. Kindergarten's okay. This is going, and we are chopping the trees down. Right. I suppose I'd better talk a little bit about what's going on here. In fact, I could do a little bit of planning out here just to show you what is going to be on my mind. As I say, I've put this in, I put this in. What we're going to do now is build a clothing industry. Now, if you watch the previous part, I explained this, but I'll go over it again. Now, a fabric factory can produce 5 tons of fabric. And because it can produce 5 tons of fabric, that means what you get, that can support 2 clothing factories. So what we're going to do is, it's quite interesting that the fabric factory is not actually an early access one. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the clothing factory here. Now you can see the clothing factory needs water. So we're going to kind of put you there like that with a little bit of a lead, because we've got to put the drainage in. We're going to have to put drainage here. Now the next thing we're going to do is put in a warehouse. Now I want the biggest warehouse we got, but we want one with a rail connection. This is about the biggest we're going to get, which is a little bit unfortunate. Whoops. Game, you are messing me about. Yeah, we're going to have to go with the 800. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to angle this off a little bit in that direction. We've got to bring a road round because I've put this open store behind it. My instinct, maybe if I put it this way, because at the end of the day, this is so far away that we are going to be delivering good. Actually, no, we can use a what we call it, can't we? A cargo station. Okay, let me just put you there. And then loyalty seems too low. Yes, thank you, game. Maybe they will die eventually and solve the problem. Now, the first actual clothing factory. Now, this needs 2 factory connections. The reason it has 2 factory connections is the fact that the fabric factory will hang on to fabric if it will not push everything through to there. By connecting this clothing factory directly to the fabric factory and the warehouse means that what will happen is that the all the fabric that's produced will be turned into clothes. And then what we're going to do is put a second clothing factory about there. So what we got is the 2 clothing factories coming in here. It means we can bring a workforce into here. So the next thing we need to do is bring out the road here. We're going to stick with building gravel as usual. And we're going to kind of come up past the clothing factory here. Like that. And of course, it means, well, we probably won't do all the road connections at the moment. Now, the next thing we want is, I need to see where the round line comes out there. That's horrible. That's not what I'm really looking for. Can I change this? Oops, no. I think we may need to move this one because I want the extra connection on the end here for a cargo station. Okay, we're going to wedge you in like that. That's better. We don't need that. That would just cause the game confusion. And then what I'm going to do is a cargo station. And we're going to put a cargo station just there. What I'm trying to do is keep the rail line free. And then what we're going to do is come up here. We will put this connection in so I don't forget. And the rest can come in here. Actually, I've just had another thought. Okay, we're just going to remove this road. Bit of road here. I'm going to put a cargo. Can I move this? This is going to be a little bit. This might throw the whole lot out. If I flip you that way. No, back that way. That puts the road on the wrong side. That's not that big a problem. Although, to be honest, I would rather, if I can get you like that. That connection is very, very important. It's not going to work, is it? Okay. We just put the. Right, maybe we're going to have to readjust this again. Apologies for this. It's very, very important that we get this done. That can go there. Let me just make sure I can put in that and squeeze that on that corner there like that. And then what we need to do is get the clothing, remove the road so we got room to maneuver. And then we'll get the clothing factory. Right, I'm just going to remove you. Try again. First you don't succeed, give up. Can I get, yeah, we can get you back in there. Very close. And we can get you just in like that. That's it. So we got the two clothing factories, we got that cargo pickup there. This one will make sense in a little while. And then you can come up close like that. Hook to there. You can hook there. Just want to make sure. Because of course, one of the downsides, in fact, I'm going to put these in as well. No, we won't, because we want long runs. Yeah, get rid of that footpath. Haven't decided on the footpaths yet. Yeah, one thing you've got to be very careful with these warehouses is they've got one-way road in, one road out. So to be able to build these, you've got to have two roads. This road over here can come out across the back here. Again, we need to see. Oh, this is it could be a problem. Although technically, let me just see where, that's wrong. Let me just remove you and put you back in again. Open hole, open store, medium. Flip. I want that like that. There. And what I'm going to need to do is put the rail line in. I have to run a rail line out here and a rail line out like that. That's going to cause a problem with this road here. Let me just see. Yep. The rail connection to the silo is probably one of the more important things. So we're going to have to kind of bring you out like that. Actually, if we bring the road and curve you like that, and then we can kind of come off like that through there. Because basically these will be for fire protection. So we're going to have to put like a fire station here. So that can stay the way it is. We're going to have to run rail lines out here because I want a rail line in here so that we can actually, do I really need that? Might it be easier? Yeah, I think this is an overcomplication. Let me just get rid of that. I don't think we need that, to be honest. I think we'll keep this as purely a import. I mean, we got a connection over here as well. So we've now kind of planned our clothing industry. Now, the next thing I've been kind of debating on is chemical industry. But I think before we do that, I need to just go over and see how things are going over here. Is that connected? Yep, good. We just need these connected here. Yeah, what I need to think about now is the chemical industry, but we will come back to that. I just want to check that bit of asphalting that we set up over here. Because of course one thing you've got to remember is to come back and tell these guys to finish it off. Actually, I think what I might do is going to cause a little bit of havoc, but I think at the moment we'll be okay. I think maybe it's time to make these connections as well. The other thing I will mention while we're here, because again, if you watch the previous video, I was talking about getting rid of the horse-drawn vehicles. You can see we're now down to kind of a very small number. I'm not actually sure what is this. Large container wagon. Okay, where are you? Oh yeah, we just got this little horse-drawn wagon here. I think what I will do is we're just going to replace you. What we got here? We got frozen meat lorry here doing nothing. I think we're doing okay. Let me just check in there. Yeah, we're okay. Got to keep very strict eye on things now, because what's starting to happen, this needs to be removed. We don't need that there now. And of course eventually this will be removed as well. Well, we got another one over there. I think what I'm going to do is it's time to start removing some of these. Right, back to what I was doing. I'm just going to buy a waste truck. Capacity. These are cheap and cheerful, so we'll get one of you, get you in here, and then we'll replace this guy. And then that will mean that that will get rid of their then what we've got is a couple of export guys here. I mean, these don't carry that much, so technically these could go as well. And then that just leaves the ones which I can't replace. Oh, can do. Where is it? Let me just get rid of you. And you, and you. Oh, we could replace these. So we'll just have to find out where they are. But those are not quite so important. So back to here. Let me just talk about chemicals now. Where are we? On the wrong side there. Got lost on my own map. Get down over there. Right, so we've now got this kind of planned in. We will need a fire station. Yeah, I think this is our... Now, I've been thinking a little bit about chemicals, and of course I've got two options. I've got the in-game one, which is this one. And this produces 0.81 tons of chemicals. Now, if we go to the actual fabric factory, this needs 0.5 tons of chemicals. So a single chemical plant here will drive the fabric factory and provide a small surplus, which we could then export, which is one of the reasons why I put this cargo one in, because this warehouse here can hold both fabric, clothes, and surplus chemicals. But what I will need to do is make sure this is one way, because what we're going to need to do is deliver, and this is the reason for this cargo station here, is the fact that we will need to deliver chemicals into here, because the actual fabric factory, what's the actual internal storage of this? It's only got an internal storage for well, it's got 12 tons of chemicals, so that's not too bad considering that's equivalent to 24 days supply. So what I'm thinking, and now the alternative is, if I get clear you, whoops, and type in chem here. Now this is the other one. Now this will produce 3.8 tons of chemicals using fuel, coal and bitumen. Now technically I've got all three resources here as well, but I feel I was thinking about this and I thought, well, the problem with doing that is that I could overload this area. Plus I think the pollution for this area is 16 tons. I think the pollution for a single chemical plant is 15 tons, so it's not a lot of difference in it. But what I'm thinking is that if I can put in a chemical plant, now the downside of this chemical plant is the fact that it's only got two connections and an external connection. And if you actually look at what's needed, is you've got crops, wood and oil and gravel. So effectively, and you can also see if you look very carefully that it doesn't burn a lot of the resources, but the stores are quite small. So like it consumes 0.78 tons of crops per day, but it's only got an internal storage of 8 tons. The oil's no problem because we can supply that by pipeline. The gravel is 10 tons and the wood is 10 tons. So internally it can only store 10 days of supply. So what I need to do is kind of get this somewhere. I mean, I don't really want to build it there because like I could, if I build it here, we got the pipeline here because we can bring the oil in across from there directly. So I would need to find an oil supply. We could probably get an oil supply from this pump at the end here. Either that, or we could just get the oil supply from here. But that would need a lot of pipe work to run into here. So what I'm thinking is, let me just put this down. Actually, where's the conveyor? The conveyor's there. Actually, if I put it up here, I think maybe if I put it here, let me just do a practice run. I'm just gonna flip you that way. That's not that brilliant, is it? Actually, no, we could use this. If I put you, say, about there. I'm a bit worried about the contours. And say I put in a warehouse. We don't need a big warehouse. We just need something that will... Where's the warehouse that's gone? That might be a bit too small. Say we put a Tudor warehouse in. This will hold 90 tons of chemicals. We could also put the output from... so we could put in the crops, deliver the crops to it. And yeah, I think if we can put in say a little Tudor warehouse here, make sure that pipe connection is not obstructed, and we can put a cargo station in there. I just had another little thought. And where's the conveyor? Conveyor's there. If I take a small open store, let me just see, where's the open store? It's a little bit big, isn't it? Way over the top. Let me just see. Got this one here. Actually, this might work, actually. This is one of the ones provided with the mod. If I stretch you out like that, and then what I could do, we got trees here. If I put in wood cutting post, say here. Yeah, if we put a wood cutting post mount there, we are going to have a problem with the workforce though. Because we would need to, well, we could actually, we bring you in closer. Now I've got an idea. Say we bring the chemical plant in a lot closer. Flip you the other way like I've just done. Get you, we can get you right in. Actually, it'd be nice if I could put you there. Trouble is, I'm not sure if I can put I put you there. I've never done this, so let me just see now. If we put in this is building over water. Let's have a look here. What we've got. Okay, we're going to need to do a little bit of leveling. Trouble with leveling through here with rocks. Can be a little bit of a problem in the sense that let me see if I can smooth it a bit. See if that would be enough. Okay, there. Okay, road's that way. If we put this in, no, I don't want the road there, because if we put this way, This just needs to provide a service. And then if we put the wood cutting post out here, got to watch out for that conveyor connection. So I want to use that. If we put the wood cutting post right out there, like that, nice long connection that way. This we can put the small warehouse, Tudor, put the Tudor warehouse there, kind of going out. We can stretch that so it would be opposite that road connection, and that will give us space for the pipe connection. Now the one thing we've got left to do, let me just get rid of that. Oops, I've just been taking pictures. Conveyor tower engine. And I can get a conveyor in there if I can convince the game that I can raise the terrain here a bit. It's going down. We need to go up. Let me just raise the ground here a bit. If I can get the conveyor. Yeah, what I'm going to have to do is take this out and level this a bit. What I'm thinking is that we can collect the, if I move this, we can collect the wood from here, and we can also extract some gravel from here, because we should be able to put a small quarry here, but what I'm going to need to do is actually level that, but it's going to take a very long time, and I don't really want to waste your time doing that. So I'll do that. I'll do the necessary adjustments. So what we can, so when we come back, I would have planned in this chemical industry here, and then we can take it from there. Right, so that's this bit here. How are we doing over here? This needs the, what we call it, let me just get the road crews on there so we can start building that. In fact, what I could do is do that, and then that will give the construction offices a connection. I think we're going to bump the priority on these. Yep. Get rid of the people there waiting. And of course, what we're going to need to do, how many wagons? This is going to need, there's a number of passengers waiting, the cableway not connected. And what we got to do now is bring in the necessary cable wagons. And of course, these have to be brought in by, we're going to need an open hole. We have an open hole in here. No. These guys are, that's a dumper, that's no good. These guys kind of skiving off with the dumpers. Okay. I'm starting to wonder whether I need all these heavy dumpers. Let me just put one in. Actually, I don't know why I did that actually, but okay. What do we need in the way of roads? We don't need that. I need roads built. But I think the problem at the moment is game is kind of wrapped up. Let me just see if I can. I think I'm a bit reluctant to build this road, simply because this road may not be where I want it because I want to put a farm out here. Okay, so does that mean, let me just see, got this road here, but this road actually needs a connection there. Right, I've got a plan. This is meant to be a, so what we're going to do is I'm going to come up here, come here, we're going to remove this road here through there, because this is going to be our highway connection up to here. So this is going to be quite an important road eventually. So what we'll do is we'll come here, oh, that's it, that's interesting, that's giving me a just see. This is the thing about this game, is sometimes you see something that looks nothing really that related, and then it gives you an idea of what you actually want to do. I would say we've got loads of stuff here, so what we're going to do is run you to there, to there, to there, and all the way to there and there, like that. We will remove that, but we need that for the construction trains, roads, vehicles to get out here. So this would be our main highway out to here, which will allow us to start building in this direction. Right, now we've got here, this is actually a tram. Ooh, that gives me an idea. It is what I thought it was. Let me just see. I hadn't considered this option, but here's the heavy personnel carrier wagons that we're going to need to buy. But what I'm going to do is I will do these off camera, guys, because it's a bit tedious. But okay, what have we got in the way of trams? Was that a train set? Oh, we got a train set. 55 kilometers an hour, 82 passengers. But the one that I thought it was is a tram. 45 kilometers, 25 kilometers an hour, 50 kilometers an hour. That doesn't give me a speed, but I'm not exactly sure what that thing is. Austro-Hungarian Empire. But this is 45 kilometers an hour, 68 passengers. Ooh. What I'm thinking is that we're going to build Cosham out here. And we're going to need to get workers permanently into here. And if you watch my previous series, I actually used tram lines. And so if we build Cosham here, I think this is where Cosham's going to be, isn't it? Somewhere around here. We could build a tram line out to here for the coal mines as well. Because what I want to bring out here, although I'm going to need to fill in these holes, is we're going to get coal out here. But the other important thing, which I think it's gone up a lot now, is the brickworks. We need to build a brickworks, because if we're going to be building sewers and stuff like that, manufacturing our own bricks is going to make a big difference. So what we want to do is get this online, and so that we can actually start to put the bricks into that area there. I think what I might do, I think we've already done enough farms here. Let me just see, we're on the 22nd of June. Let's just check this level of crops that we got at the moment. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking, okay, these guys are nearly empty. How much crops have you got in here? Not a lot. Why are you not picking up from these silos? That's a bit of a mistake. Haha. Got to flip them back. I do need to fix that. And this guy is down to 17 tons. How much have we got here? So we're running on imports at the moment. Okay. Yeah, that was a bit of a fail on my part there. But we're okay. We got a month. These guys will empty these silos very, very quickly. Probably find that what I've been doing is actually importing, yeah, lots and lots of crops. These guys have probably been going to the border and importing crops. Anyway, while we're here, let's just get rid of this guy before I forget. And you can go to scrap build like that. Actually, I'm aware that I'm running out of time on this video, so what I'll do is we're just going to do a quick check. Wow. Okay, we're now replacing there. We've just replaced a covered vehicle. Great. That's the Eastleigh Horse Veterinarian. Oh, great. That's this guy. I didn't realise he had. Okay, we're going to get rid of these guys. Covered holes. Capacity. Game word. Just use the Russo bolt. Where are you going? Where are you going to repair? Okay, he's up here. That means, okay, this guy's now finished. And replace you. And actually, that reminds me. Okay, we'll replace for you. I think what I might do is put increase that. Just want to check the veterinarian over here. Just make sure this one is, because I can't remember what. Where are you? Oh, these are Russo bolts. That's okay. Nothing to repair. Well, that gets rid of another couple of covered holes, which means if we come back to here, as I say, I know I've just thrown away a few thousand with respect to this thing, or 2,000 rubles, but so we've now got this down to here. And if we do a kind of spot check now, show wear and tear, we'll do buildings first. Actually, one thing I didn't mention in the intro is we've got another collapsed building over here. My second harbour collapsed. Also, the open store here is collapsed as well now. So we're not going to have many of these buildings left by the time we're finished. And what I really do need to do is get a road, sort these roads out, get the road connection, so we can actually start clearing all this trash away. But at the same time, I'd rather be able to do, to be able to do is the reprocessing for that. But like I say, entire map, show wear and tear. That's his vehicles. We'll come back to vehicles. So at the moment, we've still got our building maintenance under control. There's nothing. I've got a steam traction bus. Where are you? Okay, what are you? Oh, this is, yeah. I forgot that. Okay. I forgot this. These guys have got no ability to repair, so can I send you, be cheeky and because I don't want to waste the resources. Come back to here. Yeah, it looks like we've got multiple. Yeah, this guy's going to take forever to get to the border, but what was it? It's a bus, wasn't it? Capacity. You got 26 passengers. This guy goes not much. We're just going to buy another steam traction bus. Actually, I should have bought the R3. Yeah, this is going to be a problem until this town is built up, because we've got no ability to repair and replace. So, and of course, because these vehicles are young, the reason for that is if I can find the. What you see here is that if I can look at, if you see the age, it's only 6.23 years old. And this is one of the problems you will have with automatic replacement. If we go to buses, what you'll see is the replacement is 16 years, 50%. Maybe it's time to reduce that a little bit more to 15 replacement, send to scrapyard. So this vehicle does not reach the requirement for scrapping. It's saying that I need to be repaired, because of course there's no repair facility out here. We do need to plan one, but that would be the subject of a future video. Come back over here. How are you guys going? Yep. You get that going. Get you built. I think, yeah, so we're quite happily asphalting in everything here. I think what we can do is do this section here, get that done. I mean, it's not costing us anything because we're manufacturing our own asphalt, so we might as well get this underway. I do need to sort this out. Anyway, I've now actually run out of time, so we're just going to come back to Warstock and see what we've got here. Okay, we've now got this operational. Just as a demo for what we're going to do is, what we've got to do is we're going to start with, say, come in here, we're going to buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. If I start with 10, and then that's a dumper. Let me just see. What do we need to actually? Yep, nearly made a mistake. Generally, these thingies here don't need. All they need is a small ammo. Open hole. Yeah, we need an R3 or an ammo 15. So we come into here. Just buy an ammo 15 open hole. And what I'll do is I'll cut the video here just so I can show you how we got to move the carriers out to over there. And I'll be right back once we've got the truck here to set the route up. Okay, welcome back. I've just realised there's one thing that is missing from here, is we do not have a pub. So we're going to have to... don't want an alcohol kiosk. I'm going to put a cafe bar, Old City Cafe bar in. Is that good enough? What's the alternative? Alcohol kiosk. Wow, that's way too big. We're going to put an Old City bar in, make it the center of the community So yeah, there's a pretty big oversight there. So we can just tuck you up here to reward the workers that who are. You can go there. Thank you, game. Put that on the high priority, just to see what the coverage is like. Yeah, we can reach everything. Yep, bit of an oversight, but that's okay. Okay, welcome back. We've now got our little ammo 15. What we've got to do now is tell it to collect. It doesn't matter what it collects because it's going that way. And then what we've got to do is just deliver to there, unload. And then if we set up a trace on this guy. So here we are, our little truck is just coming in here. He's only... Yeah, I get a feeling he's... Let me just minimize, get that out the way. I think this guy is a little bit overloaded. I think that will be the thumbnail. Right, so what I'll do now again is I'll just cut the video and I'll be back when he actually, as he approaches the cableway. So here we are, he's just about to deliver the first. And so what he's got now is another 9 round trips to do. We've now got our connection here. It says just load workers. Like that. And then at the other end, we set this up just to say unload workers because we don't want to take workers back. Like that. A number of workers waiting. We don't want any workers waiting at that end. What we do want is workers waiting here. And then what will happen is actually, yeah, we got footpath connection there. Do we get any other? No, no more footpath connections. What will happen is we will get workers coming into here, the unemployed, and then they will start to come up here. We got to start a fire, a gas station in Bath. I'm not actually sure where Bath is. Well, I know where Bath is in the UK, but and then what that will do is we'll start to get more and more workers out to here. Go right. This is going to. This produces coal, so we need to set that to coal. Anyway, this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. As I say, what I will do is sort out this bit here off camera so that we can actually build what we want to build here. Also, we'll get the cableway up and running so that we can get more and more workers out of here, out to here, so we can have a more stable production flow here. And of course it would mean eventually once we got the cement plant running, we can get this sorted out as well. So this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. And until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.